Low grades, low motivation, and resentment. These are the results of having a bad teacher. If you're experiencing any of these symptoms right now, then this video is for you. And even if you like all of your teachers currently and are doing just fine, you're likely to run into these somewhere down the line. So I'd recommend sticking around and listening to some tips on how you can make the best of these situations. Hey everyone, my name's Colin, and today I am bringing you yet another school-related video. I know, basically every video that I've put in this channel has been something about academics, except for my vlogs. But it's the beginning of the school year, and this is the time when most of you out there should hear this advice and you could still make use of it and start your year off right. In this video specifically, I wanted to talk about bad teachers. The odds of you running into someone that you consider to be a bad teacher somewhere down the line are incredibly high, and we all know the downward spiral of grades, motivation, and just satisfaction that follows. Most of the time, the student will experience some, if not all, of the symptoms that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, and they'll just stop caring about the class, or even worse, sometimes just school in general. If they're the only one having a tough time, they're likely to feel like out of place or left behind. But honestly, it's even worse when the entire class is struggling, because everyone collectively agrees just to give up on the class altogether. I mean, if you have a teacher that you can't seem to learn anything from, you might as well just give up, right? Wrong. Before I get into what you as a student can do to address these problems, I'd like to address the fact that many teachers that carry this label of being a bad teacher aren't all that bad at all. That title is extremely subjective and can be placed on pretty much anybody who just has unusual or more strict teaching styles than most students are used to. In fact, in my experience, some of my favorite teachers were the ones that carried this label, because they're the ones that didn't let everything slide. They're the ones that made you work hard for your grade, the ones that you actually learned from. Since everyone has unique learning styles and emotions, you're more than likely to encounter a teacher that has opposing teaching styles and an opposing personality. This can create, for a lot of students, a pretty difficult learning environment. So if this is happening to you, here are some methods that you can try out to improve the situation. The very first thing that you should do is figure out what the problem is. Does their personality rub you the wrong way? Do they spend too little time in class on certain topics? Do they use too advanced of jargon that goes right over your head? It's hard to solve a problem when you don't even know what the problem is to begin with. So instead of just saying that they're not good at their job, try to figure out exactly what it is that bothers you. Once you figure out what the problem is, only then can you take the steps necessary to solve it. The first of which should be talking to the teacher directly. Whether the problem is academic related or caused by conflicting personalities, try to talk to the professor or teacher one-on-one by appointment. It's best not to act out or cause a scene in front of people, because the teacher will likely see this as immature and they really won't take your issue very seriously at all. But if you meet with that teacher individually and express your concern professionally and present it in a clear way, they're probably going to be more than willing to help you and help to improve the situation. And the reason why I suggested meeting by appointment is because if you try to talk to the professor or teacher or instructor right after class, you're likely still heated and frustrated from the class itself about not understanding or whatever it may be, and this can cause you to think illogically, and you might act out a little bit. You might be a little more rude when you're speaking to the instructor. But if you schedule an appointment, you're much more clear-headed, and you'll be much more clear and concise with your case, which means you're much more likely to come to a solution. Just like with any other relationship, communication is key. Without communication, you're both left ignorant to each other's feelings, and the problems are never resolved. This is by far the most underrated form of problem solving. So before you try any other methods, definitely see if just talking to the professor themselves works. It usually works like a charm. If asking questions or talking to the instructor fails to make any progress or make enough progress, then the next thing you should try is find somebody in the class that seems to have everything together, that seems to actually understand the material, and ask them all the questions that you have. Now this one, you might be thinking to yourself, hey, I do that. I ask the students around me what they got for this answer, and most students do ask the other students for their questions before talking to the instructor, but I think you should do this after talking to the instructor if talking to the instructor fails. But also, not just asking about questions, because I think most students, the questions that they're asking them in the wrong way. Let me explain. Instead of asking super specific questions about like certain problems and the answers to them, ask more general questions like, how did you get to that solution? Or how are you able to know when and when not to use this formula? Asking questions like these offers insight into how the other students are able to interpret the teacher's instruction. And with enough asking around, you're likely to find somebody who's able to present the information in a way that actually makes sense to you. And now, instead of getting an answer that only helps with like one specific assignment, you're able to get an answer that helps you with future lessons as well. A new perspective, rather. A good comparison to this, in my opinion, would be the popular proverb, give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day, teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. In this situation, if you're just asking for a simple answer, you'll just have the answer for that single day. But if you're asking how they got there and what their tactics are, then you'll be able to learn much more cohesively over a lifetime, or over the rest of your academic career at least. In the situation that the whole class is confused, you're still in luck actually, because we live in the 21st century and basically everything you need is at your fingertips. YouTube is a gem, and obviously if you're watching this, you know that it's not just a medium for entertainment, but rather an educational resource. Don't know how to format an essay? There's a YouTube video for that. Don't know how to memorize a chemistry formula? There's probably a YouTube video for that. Want to know how to overcome a fear of public speaking? Guess what? There's a YouTube video for that. Pretty much anything that can't be answered by the instructor or your classmates can be answered by things like Google, YouTube, and Khan Academy. And trust me, if they're not already, these things will become your best friends in high school and college. If you haven't gotten the message of this video by now, then I've probably done a poor job, but the point of this video is that if you're having a hard time in a class, that doesn't always mean it's the instructor's fault and that they're bad at their job. It also doesn't mean that you're screwed and you should let your grades slip. The problem a lot of times is something as simple as just lack of communication, and the answer can be as simple as just talking it out. So before you decide to ask your counselor to switch your schedule around, talk to your teacher, ask your classmates for help, and seek answers online. That's all I have for today's video. If you'd like to see more videos like this one and anything ranging from fashion to finance, I strongly encourage you to like this video and subscribe for more. If you have any other suggestions with dealing with any of these classroom situations that I failed to mention in this video, please leave your ideas in the comment section below. I hope you all enjoyed this video. My name is Colin. Thank you all for watching, and have a nice day.